And to shed more light on the latest development that is happening in Gaza and the Gaza Strip, I'm so delighted to be accompanied over the phone by Dr. Ahmed Sharaf, the political analyst. Good evening, sir.
Well, good evening. Thank you for having me. Always a pleasure to talk to all of you.
Thank you for being with us. Well, of course, we've seen lately there is lots of development and escalation in the Gaza Strip and in Gaza, of course. But today we have also a news that the Red Crescent, the Egyptian Red Crescent, announced the 21st aid convoy, which is right now, it's Zad al-Izza, from Egypt to Gaza. When it comes to the circumstances that is facing the Gazans and the Palestinians over there, when it comes to starvation, and of course lately the UN had announced and declared that now Palestine and Gaza is suffering from the 5th stage of starvation, which never happened before, even in every big war.
Right. Well, let me tell you from the very beginning, this is disgraceful. This is probably the most disastrous humanitarian crisis in our time. We never witnessed something like that before. It's something that is unbelievable happening on the ground. Famine has been formally declared. The Integrated Food Security Phase Classification, IPC, says that Gaza Governorate, I mean here Gaza City area, is in famine with more than 500,000 people already in famine conditions across the Strait, and the projections rising if nothing changes. And what is more and more depressing is, on the other hand, we can just see aggressions are continuing. So today, we can just see the civilian harm remains extreme. Incidents of people being killed while seeking aid persist. On August 24th, for example, today, 4 Palestinians were shot near a distribution site with malnutrition that's mounting. So the disastrous outcomes here, I'm talking about the humanitarian level. We have widespread hunger and famine, mass casualties and injuries beyond more than 62,000 killed. And the death toll is still continuing as the aid access is restricted. And so we can also see, so let me just tell you here something very important. Egypt is working very hard on this track. Egypt is doing all the best, and I'm very sure that there will be a breakthrough at the end. There are a lot of mediation and diplomacy efforts being exerted, humanitarian aid, logistics. We can also see the health medical evacuation. We can see also the border security management. So, on the other hand, Egypt is working together with some neighboring countries, proposing a 60-day truce involving phased hostage prisoner exchanges, major humanitarian aid inflows, and partial Israeli withdrawal. So there are reports confirmed that there are approval about the Cairo's proposals. So there are also sustained diplomatic pressures, and Egypt has already intensified contacts with all the concerned parties. Negotiation rounds are hosted repeatedly in Cairo, though we can just see also that there are some complications happening on the ground, and Egypt categorically declared that it rejects any sort of displacement of Gaza people in any place. It is a red line for Egypt that the conflict should be resolved through a political horizon, a political framework that can lead at the end to a viable Palestinian state.
Well, Dr. Ahmed, of course, we've seen Egypt doing a great job when it comes to mediation. Of course, lots of negotiations on the round table, calling for a truce, for non-displacement of the Palestinians, and of course the solution of the two-state solutions, which is always Egypt is calling for. Do you think that this kind of escalation right now that is happening, which is the whole world is watching, we know it's not speechless anymore, people been talking, nations, the UN, different countries around the world is speaking that Gaza is a two-state solution, of course, and the non-displacement of the Palestinians. But You said something very important, that Egypt also faces lots of challenges when it comes to its borders. On top of that, Egypt is the only country that has been providing our dear Gaza with all the aids. So it's not the first time, but we're trying on both sides, I guess.
I think you're absolutely right. Yes, Egypt in this case is just facing challenges. But if you just ask me, where is the world today? I think that the world is responsible for what's happening today. We can just see that there is a daily level of death and killing just because of the famine and the starvation. We never saw something like that before. And so I think it's the responsibility of the world community today. We can just find today expanding campaigns for medical support, deploying mobile hospitals, field clinics, medical supply chain, putting a framework for a longer-term political solution, reviving the two-state track. I mean, but before we talk about all of that, I think that we need to face the humanitarian disaster today. Never talk about anything, but just let the people have their food. This is the first thing. I think that this is something that we need to reconsider again. And then after that, the reconstruction to the political commitments, going forward to some other points, like, for example, regional security guarantees, and also stopping, first of all, the famine, the starvation, protecting the civilians immediately through aid, ceasefire, and monitoring, achieving stability in Gaza in the long term with government support, reconstruction funds, and medical lifelines, and laying the groundwork for peace. And through the recognition of the Palestinian statehood, accountability under international law, and the two-state security framework, that is the only way out for the solution for what's happening.
Well, Dr. Ahmed Sharafuddin, the political analyst, I would like to thank you so much for your informative call. And ladies and gentlemen, a short break and we'll be back.